Hi friends, in this video we'll learn about PAT, that is Perform, Achieve and Trade, the scheme of Bureau of Energy Efficiency, how we can able to get additional revenues through energy saving certificates. I'm Subramaniam, Dr. Subramaniam from Siri Exergy, Hyderabad. I'm an accredited energy auditor and we are empaneled with BE for carrying out PAT audits, that is M&V, monitoring verification audits for almost all the sectors except pulp and paper and aluminum. And so PAT is part of there is seven missions working under the Prime Minister of India, like a solar mission, climate change mission, environment mission. There is a national mission on enhanced energy efficiency. It is NMEEE. So under this scheme, PAT is coming. Under PAT, the various designated consumers who are consuming more than the threshold limit. So in some places it is 30,000 metric tons of oil equivalent. Some of the companies for 20,000 for them. Some of them 10,000 for a textile. It is only 3,000 like that. So all energy intensive industries are categorized under. They made designated consumers. Once you are a designated consumer, so you have to undergo all the PAT rules. You have to follow the PAT rules, like you have to get it done energy audit once in 3 years, and you have to get it done monitoring verification audit, M&V audit again once in 4 years. Once in 4 years, so you have to get it done through the empaneled accredited energy auditors, and you have to submit the report. So based on that. So all the designated consumers, there is already under Gazette. You can see the Gazette, that is PAT 1, PAT 2, PAT 3, the Gazette. So you will find your targets. What are the targets? What is your baseline? What is your baseline production or a generation? In case of power plant, is a baseline generation, and there is a target. So target normally they will be giving under they have for the power plant based on the heat rate. So heat rate, if you're able to reduce their heat rate, you will be once the target is given. If you just achieve the target, so you will not get any energy saving certificate. You go below your target, your specific energy consumption is below the target, then the difference will be calculated. That is baseline minus the actual achieved. Baseline achieved into multiplied by the baseline production. So that is quantified. That is in terms of metric ton of oil equivalent. So 1 metric ton of oil equivalent is it is 10 to the 7 million kilocalories. Suppose you have able to reduce 1 metric ton of oil, so that is gives one energy saving certificate. Suppose you have reduced 1 ton of coal equivalent, so that we have to convert depending on the calorific value. Suppose if a calorific value is say 4,000, whereas oil calorific value is 10,000. So 4,000 by 10,000. So roughly, that value, if you would multiply by that the coal savings, you can able to convert into metric tons of oil equivalent savings. In case of discounts, so it is in terms of T&D loss. So T&D loss, if your target, you have a baseline is say 15% and your target is say 12%. So that the difference 3% into the number of units distributed. So that converted into 860, converted to kilocalories, divided by again 10 to the 7 gives the tons of oil equivalent reduction. So this is the scheme through which one can able to, in fact, if you are able to deliberately do it, we can able to get the reduction, and those reduced energy savings metric ton it can be traded. So that traded in the sense, so we have received, so we'll get a certificate. Those certificates will be tradable in the market through can be sell through either through INEX, that is IEX, Indian Energy Exchange, or Power Exchange. Through Power Exchange, we can able to trade, and we can get additional revenues. So now the notional value fixed for one energy saving in PAT 2 cycle is 18,902 rupees. So that means is you can able to if we able to even if we would reduce even 1 kilocalorie, but typical for a power plant. So because heat rate of a power plant is somewhere around gross heat rate will be somewhere around 2,400, whereas the net heat rate taking into account auxiliary power consumption, it will be somewhere around say 2,650 or so. So if you want to reduce 1 kilocalorie, because normally all power plants they daily calculate their heat rate. So sometimes it 4 kilocalorie, 5 kilocalorie is less or higher, but they won't bother because it is a routine. But even 1 kilocalorie makes a lot of difference. So 1 kilocalorie, if you're able to reduce for a typical of generation of say 10,000 billion, so expected energy saving certificate it will be around 10,000. So 10,000 energy saving certificate you will get if you can able to calculate at the even highest rate of at notional 18 crore, you can able to get almost 1.8 crores. So 1.8 crores, so you can able to get a incentive. So that is the plus point. But so in case if you are not able to reduce, even the penalty also huge, penalty also equivalent. So now in the under PAT, in the first cycle, there were 8 energy intensive sectors, like we have power plants, cement, steel, chlor-alkali, aluminum, pulp and paper, textile. So these are the 8 sectors was there in the PAT 1 cycle. Then PAT 2, some more are added. Some PAT 2, 3 more sectors like railways, discoms, and refineries was added. And later in some more sectors like petrochemical and buildings. So buildings also consume huge, particularly like IT buildings or the 5-star hotels, hospitals, they consume huge energy. So they are also being added. Now, already now the PAT, Gazette was available for PAT 1, PAT 2, PAT 3, PAT 4, PAT 5, and PAT 6, PAT 7. So PAT 7 is now, so far we completed PAT 5 because this year, so assessment year was the 22 to 21, 22 was the assessment year, and just completed the PAT 5 for some of the DCs and for them. So they had to, even when you are DC, you have to minimum documents you have to follow is you have to appoint an energy manager, and every year you have to submit your energy returns. That is in the form of Form 1. Form 1 we have to submit. And in addition to the Form 1, again, some of the other formats you have to submit are Form A. That Form A is your PAT assessment document. Then Form B. Form B will be issued by the accredited energy auditor, whoever visit you, whoever you appoints. So he will be assess your actual energy savings. They convert into energy saving certificates. So those energy saving certificates will be issued. Of course, in B will again verify all these things. SDA, and also SDA means state designated agency. State designated agency like for some of these states, like it is in Telangana, it is REDCO. If it is in Andhra Pradesh, it is AP State Energy Conservation Mission. In Punjab, it is PEDA, Punjab Energy Development Agency. If it is Gujarat, it is JEDA MEDA. Like those organizations, they are at the state level. So they also verify and recommend to BAE. And once they are issued, your tradable already said. And before that, you have to follow the other side Form A. So Form B, so it is issued by the accredited energy auditor. There is again Form C in case there is a dispute. In case there is a dispute between the designated consumer and the auditor, you feel there is not, he has given a negative, then you can go to represent to BE, and BE again appoint a third party. So they will come and assess under check verification. After check verification, that is the final. So that is the final through which Form C will be issued. So once Form C is over, then if you are either positive or negative, finally, if it is a negative, it is a non-conformity. is a non-conformity. You have to close the non-conformity just by buying the energy saving certificate from the market, from the exchange. You buy it and close it. Whereas in other standards like ISO 9000 or 14,000 or 15,001, in case there is a non-conformity, like take an example of if you have not got the calibration certificate, you can get it for calibration and submit and close the non-conformity. Suppose if your training is not being done for the your employees. So get trained. You can send the you can produce the training certificate attendance and you close issue. But whereas in PAT, unless you pay the penalty, it cannot be closed. So that Form D, so once your Form B everything is finalized and all, so the sufficient time will be given by BE to close that conformity, that is Form D. So if you are positive, no problem. So you can just submit that as positive, and you have carried out all the Form A, Form B, Form D, and you can submit. In case of negative, then you buy it and close it. You are not buying at the market rate. So market rate law, initially they even in PAT 1 cycle, PAT 2 cycle, PAT 1 cycle it has stated even 200, 300 rupees also. Now the government think of minimum maybe 100,000 rupees. So minimum 1,000 rupees will be the one saving certificate cost. So you have to buy from a market and close it. In case you are not buying from the market, the penalty will be the highest rate. So highest rate, that is whatever 18,400 or something is given. At that rate you have to pay for it. I just give because we have done the almost 75 M&DB audits so far in almost all sectors, including check verification. So we can able to guide the industries or can able to verify your documents and see how then can do the due diligence and also issue Form B to the some industries. So and also railways. So railways also there is not the specific energy in terms of KWH. So KWH per 1000 GTKM. In case of diesel loco, it is a SFC, that is a specific fuel consumption liters per 1000 GTKM. So those the norms, that is the targets, based on that targets are fixed. Normally the targets are fixed 1% less than because the total PAT cycle is for 4 years. So PAT cycle is for 4 years. So in the if in 4 years cycle you have to reduce it. So maybe roughly it is 3 to 4% you have to reduce it depending on the your baseline and also the norm compared to the best unit in the sector. And there is no, you're not comparing directly with the best unit because you are comparing your own data. So past 3 years data is averaged and is given as a baseline. So based on that, as a target will be either 1 or 2% every year, or depending on the INDC targets. So INDC is it is a intended nationally determined contributions. So they are each country is fixed. So we are following. So we have to reduce our reductions by 2030 45%, and by 2070 we have to reduce. We have to become net zero. We have to become net zero. Based on this, the targets are fixed, and so we have to follow. Once you are in the gazette, and already targets are given, so we have to able to achieve it and submit all the documents to BE. And BE also not don't want to penalize if you are not performing, in the sense because of genuinely, in the sense beyond your control. Some like there is a tsunami, like recently there was a corona, some units was not able to run the plants, so they were shut down, and some of the natural calamities, and also government has given us some particular pollution control board. Earlier you didn't have a FGD for power plant, and later on you are added a FGD. So those things we can able to get a normalization. So there is normalization factors available where raw material is changed, and also because earlier you were procuring from one mine and later you shifted to another mine, and also your energy mix, particularly power mix, has changed. Earlier you are generating, you are getting from grid. Later on you have gone to self generation. You have captive power plant. Because of that, there is a overall heat rate has changed. So because of that, so those things we can able to get as some normalization, or even for the capacity utilization. There is a plant load factor or capacity utilization for the power mix. So those things you can get a normalization. So after normalization, when you are negative also, sometimes because of applying for normalization, you will become positive. So this is a scheme is very good, and initially in the first cycle, so many people, though we had a target of almost 8.3, we have a target, but we have achieved more than that. Most of the companies out of 460 is 468 was the number of DCs in the PAT 1 cycle. Almost more than 300 companies, 300 DCs able to achieve positive. Similarly, PAT 2 also now the around 900 people are there. So they also, but still that PAT 2 cycle calculation, that is total data is not available. So once you're given a target, many people is able to achieve, and they able to get a positive, and those certificates even can be carry forward. So once you have PAT 1 cycle, you got some positive, and you don't want to sell, so you can able to carry forward to PAT 3 cycle. So this facility is available, and so who are with the DCs, so they can able to follow in the PAT M&V. The four forms we have to follow is form 1, 2, 3, 4. In case of you want to do the mandate energy audit, then you have to follow say mandate energy audit form 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas in the case of M&V, form A, B, C, D. So this, if you have to remember, so many people still people change in the energy manager change, or the employee change. Many people still, even after so many PAT cycles, still people are not familiar with the what data to be submitted, or what are the implications of non-conformity. So those two they can able to get trained, or they get able to enlightened through us. And so my request is save energy, save today and survive tomorrow, and also get additional revenue through PAT. Thank you.